when my dad died, I went off the rails. I spent a lot of time just wandering around, drinking. And that's where I met my eldest daughter's dad, just hanging around on the streets. And I fell pregnant with Leanne, and I found out I was pregnant a week after my nan passed away. So it was just before I turned 15, I found out I was pregnant. Many times I'd sit and ask myself, why the bloody hell did I bother having children? You know, I'm not cut out to be a parent. Being a mum maybe it doesn't come naturally to me. You know, maybe I'm just no good. Because of my past experiences in my life, I think that had a massive impact on the way I was with my children and the thoughts that were going through my mind. I attempted suicide, and I spent 3 nights in hospital. I took a load of pills, a massive cocktail of medication. I had to have my stomach pumped at the hospital. My partner found me, and Kaya was there as well. Kaya was 2. But it took probably about 2 or 3 weeks after it happened for me to realise that I do want to be here. I want to be a mum. I need help.
About 13 years ago, I moved from Germany to London. My family, my sisters, my mother, my parents, they all were left behind in Germany. And I felt so alone and of course with the new environment, new school system, new language and everything. And with the time I was really stressed out. I read the Quran where it says, never shout at your children. And then I closed the Quran and I start shouting at my children. I thought, I'm praying. I pray regularly. I pray Quran. That's okay. And being mom is something else. I thought my religion and my culture and my parenting, my being mom are 2 different worlds. And this cause was the main reason how these both worlds come together. Even though I was suffering, I wanted to change, but I was not accepting. You know, before changing, the first step is to accept that you have a problem.
There's a self-awareness component in it that is so crucial. Quite a lot of other programmes teach parents strategies. The nurturing programme says to parents, care about yourselves first, and then you can care for your children. But until you look after yourself emotionally and understand how your feelings drive your behaviour, actually it's going to be very difficult to do it with your children. It's like, if we can't read, how can we teach other people to read? So if we want our children to be emotionally and physically and mentally healthy, we have to be that as well. And many of the parents I work with are quite depressed, and the programme really helps lift them out of depression.
I was really unsure about going to groups, going to meet other parents and things like that. I was really unsure and really quite nervous about going to meet new people, because I always felt people would probably judge me badly on the fact that I had a child so young. I was worried that I'd have to go in and say, hi, my name's Sonia and I can't cope with my kids type of thing. I didn't know what to expect. Laura.
Kaylee.
Rachel.
Jamie.
And I was totally wrong when I first went to the meeting. I was nervous that morning, but Rachel met me and took me in, and there was A few people there I knew anyway from the school, like people I meet on the playground and stuff. So I went in and Rachel got me a cup of tea and sat me down, and we went from there and never looked back.
As you do the course, the 10 weeks course, it changes you from inside. When she told me the topics, I really thought God has sent someone to help me. I was always blaming everyone else. I was thinking, my husband is not changing, my kids are not changing, they are the same, they are messy, they don't clean their room, they are every day the same, they are shouting, they're not respecting me. And from that day, when I stopped criticizing them, they were, it didn't take a few weeks or a few days. From that day, from that point, they really felt the change. The Prophet, he always used to praise the kids. Praise is like water, if water for plants and flowers. And wherever you put in water, it will grow. If there is any tiny good in a child, you start praising it, and it becomes the character of the child.
It wasn't until I'd done the programme and I realised that I don't really praise my children very much for anything, but there's a lot my children do that I should be praising them for, and that they've done really well, they deserve the praise. So doing the programme made me sit back and reflect on the past, the fact that I hadn't done it, and determined that I will try my utmost to catch moments when they're doing really well, or they've done something very kind, or sometimes just praise them for being them.
17.
1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, cool. Girls, you okay now with this?
Where do you think the filament is on a light bulb? Can I borrow this picture, Olivia, before he checks?
Gear 1, Gear 2, Gear 3, Gear 5.
What we had before was all about aggression and stress and fear and getting through somehow. What we have now is a celebratory place where people are gentle with one another and with themselves, and with an understanding that of what makes people tick is no different for adults or children. And if you have a positive, deeply positive, nurturing environment, then everybody can grow and learn. At the heart of it is how you view yourself and other people. And the Family Links Nurturing Programme helps you understand as an adult what makes you work, how emotionally, what it is that makes you achieve and learn and grow and be happy and fulfilled, and what the barriers are to that. And then it helps you understand what that would mean for a child.
Okay, fantastic. So if you're feeling a little bit angry, a little bit upset, you could use your personal power to take it out on your pillow instead of somebody, okay? How am I going to put that one, Clodagh?
Oh, circle time is wonderful. It's a time when the children give voice to their own deepest feelings in their own words. So they will explore the experiences which have happened to them or things they've done to others, trying to help them explore, make sense of what's going on.
Oh, how perfect. Sorry. Okay, sometimes that's all it can take. Somebody over here, I think it was Omar, said using your personal power to just apologise, because that can just...
The children come home, particularly Kaya, using a lot of phrases and things from the nurturing programme, which I've also heard used around the school and things like that, like choice and consequence. Kaya told me about that the same week that I was learning about that. And he said, for every decision you make, Mum, for every choice you make, there is a consequence. And I said, yeah, I know. And I remember just looking at him and smiling and feeling like, well, it's good that he's learning too.
Have we got any more ways of using our personal powers for kind of Not always dealing with anger, but for little things every single day. For example, I used my personal power.
It's a chance to express and explore the negative side of life and put voice to it, but also to explore alternatives. And for some children, they perhaps haven't had the chance before to really either articulate what's happening to them or to explore ways of trying to find a different way of being, a different way of interacting with other people, or a different way of viewing yourself.
وجنات ألفافا إن يوم الفصل كان ميقاتا يوم ينفخ في الصور فتأتون أفواجا. The most great gift I had from this program was getting rid of my depression and understanding myself. Because you have to understand yourself. You have to look inside you. There is a saying in the Quran, whoever knows himself, he knows Allah, he knows God. This parenting course is going to the roots of the problems. If you are a depressed and sad and not good parent, you can't produce good human beings. You can't be a good doctor, you can't be a good engineer, you can't be a good anything if you're not a good human. And the parents are responsible from the very young age to produce good humans.
I wish this sort of thing was available when I was younger, because it might have made some of the decisions and choices I made. It might have been a bit different if I'd known. I just done my parenting from what I'd learnt from my mum, which is fine. She didn't do a bad job, but I wanted to do a bit better job for my children. And I do really hope that my children grow up happy, but also with some good life skills that they've picked up, or maybe that I've installed in them. That would make me, I'd be quite proud to see my children raising my grandchildren and not having to find things too difficult.
It's not religion and then parenting. No, it's one thing. Being parents is Allah's commands, and the kids are from Allah. They are gifts from God. God will ask me, I gave you 3 children, what have you done? I gave you the parenting course, I gave you the nurturing program with Islamic values. What, have you changed yourself or not? And then, of course, and this responsibility, it changes you. It starts changing you from inside. And you think and you see your problems and your children and your life totally different.
We don't lecture people. They come to the courses, they share ideas, and they get involved and engaged in role plays, discussions. They make their own discoveries and their own changes. It's not imposed upon them by experts. It's not the nanny state. It's people making their own journey, their own discovery in their own pace, without being told that they're failures. It's about hope and the future, a good future for their children.
Where are you going? You're going to climb over Kaya? Climb over Kaya.
doing my childcare MVQ level 1 at the moment. My work gets put in on Monday to be evaluated, and I find out a week later if I've passed my level 1. So I would love to work with children. Even though I've got 5 of my own, I really would like to work with children.